Hey guys, Lord Sora here. Once again, we're back with another Necromancer content. I know you guys have been asking for this almost every day, wanting me to update the build guide Shadow Wave for Season 2. Alrighty, before we ramble on, let's immediately jump into the gear. Just so you know, what I'm showing is not my actual gear, but in fact what I'm still working towards, showing the max roll guide. So I don't want you to think that I have everything maxed out and ready to go. It's a work in progress. That's what's fun about Diablo 4 in my opinion, gearing and always min-maxing. Starting with the helmet, I'm running Exploiter's aspect here. If you ask why no Shaco or Harlequin crest, this will make more sense when we go over the skill tree, but short answer right now is the Shaco does not do much for our Shadow Wave build outside of the DR it provides, because we simply do not use any core skill abilities to do our damage and only relying on our ultimate. The stats I really like here are max life, total armor, intelligence. Also, like I mentioned in the beginning, Exploiters helps a lot here. A lot of classes are unstoppable, so having this extra 40% damage helps a lot with our burst ability. Moving on to the next chest piece, I'm running aspect of the might here. Since now we use decompose in the build, we can take advantage of this aspect, which provides more tankiness. Stats, we're running max life, total armor, damage reduction, and intelligence. Glows, we're running the aspect of the damned, utilizing both cursed abilities, sort of similar to season 1, since we do actually have available skill slots still. Utilizing this is highly important in my opinion, giving us a huge damage multiplier. Stats, speaking of double curse, to quickly apply them we value attack speed, very high lucky hit chance, intelligence, as well as damage to injured, which I personally really like. It has some good interactions with Shadow Wave. The moment the enemy is injured, we see those huge pop of damage numbers. Pants, we are running the new unique Thibault's Will. Simple I think here, the damage multiplier is actually huge and it's very noticeable when I don't have these pants on. On boots, we are running Flicker Step, another amazing unique we got and highly benefiting this build. It reduces our Shadow Wave cooldown significantly, gives us more Shadow Wave damage because it has ultimate skill stat on it, as well as movement speed and DR from close. This unique is just so good to run, one of my personal favorites this season. Necklace, we are putting our ultimate shadow here to ramp up our Shadow Wave damage even more. For stats, there are a lot of variations I test out, especially depending on the matchup. It is sort of up to personal style, but so far what I like is CDR, cooldown reduction, movement speed, and flat DR. As a last choice, Gloom or Amplify, depending on how you play. Gloom is a bit more damage, Amplify is more right up burst damage, so it depends on which one you like more. Rings, we are using X-Files. This unique has been so good for us, especially with Decompose. If you haven't seen my previous video, I have already showed some interactions, how it works and how we proc it. This is absolutely huge for us. Last season, even if our wave hit hard, players simply could walk out of it at times and we did not have anything to finish them off. But this rings helps so much with that. We have additional burst, we can keep the pressure going, and there is no more kiting around us like season 1. This ring is one of the main reasons why Necro feels so much better this season. Other ring, we're running Fast Blood here, absolutely no question on this one, gotta have it. Stats I like on it, max lucky hit, max life, damage over time, and shadow damage. Coming to the weapons, we are running Doombringer. The life we get from it is so good, which helps me build my Paragon a little towards more damage, and the DR it provides actually helps a lot with survivability. However, don't worry, this is not make or break of the build. If you could not get one, simply running Wand is actually more advantageous. Offensively, you can have more lucky hit, which can proc X-Files a bit more. As well, you can have some more other valuable stats like shadow damage, intelligence, so on and so forth. On focus, we are running Tidal Aspect here. Another aspect that is a must to make this build work. Stats I like, intelligence, lucky hit, cooldown reduction, and damage reduction from Shadow Dot. Before we moving on, item power 925 is actually important for your damage, so try to make sure at least your weapons are max item power to have more damage in PvP environment. As far as gem goes, I'm utilizing Amethyst on the armor for DR against damage over time. In the current meta, almost most meta builds are dot builds except Thorns, so really having these gems at all times helps a lot. On weapon, I'm running ultimate damage gems to increase shadow wave damage. On the jewelry, I run fire res, poison res, and lightning res gems to spread my buckets out so I hit 70% cap for all these buckets. Alright, going over the skill tree here quickly, we are taking Decompose. Like I mentioned many times, it's very important for us now. It has a very high lucky hit chance. We are using it to proc X-Fells. It's a very important playstyle to have in this current meta, which also actually gives us another 10% damage multiplier, which is also nice to have. Going down the second part, we are not taking any core ability here. We used to take Blight. It still has a place in the current meta, but right now I'm not utilizing that. I'm actually taking Hewed Flesh here still. Generating corpses here and there is nice. It also boosts our damage. There is one issue though right now. I think there's a bug that we cannot utilize this passive using Decompose. These two does not interact with each other. Like the lucky hits from Decompose does not generate corpses. So I hope that gets fixed and we can actually utilize this passive even more. But maybe there's a place where I change this skill point here and put it actually into Blight and put in my skill bar. But for now, it's good to have to be able to unlock the next section. Coming to next section, obviously we are bread and butter, Blood Mist. We are always running this and we're trying to put as much into this, which goes to my previous point about Shaco, Harlequin Crest, why we do not benefit from it as much. Only area that we benefit is actually Blood Mist. If you look at the skill tree quickly, all we have is 1 point into our main abilities except Blood Mist, and that's the only benefit we get from Harlequin Crest. If that is important to you, obviously it has a use, it's not bad. More DR, more cooldown reduction on Blood Mist, it's decent. However, I value Exploiter's aspect on the helmet that I have showed in the current meta, considering how much unstoppable most classes have. That helps us dish out more damage. Here we always put 1 point into spiked armor to be able to proc Decrypify. If you didn't know this already, when you put Decrypify on enemy, if they attack you, there's a chance they will get proc. We will proc cooldown reduction, procking Thorns, so that helps on that sense. We come in here, we are using Corpse Explosion just to be able to create area of denial and also have more lucky hit chances from this to reduce cooldown, also proc X-Fells. Coming to the next one, Grim Harvest, we are only putting 1 point here because we do not utilize our resources. We always have resources at the top because we were using Decompose. We do not have any spender. Coming down, we have Fueled by Death, gives us a nice damage boost. This one is not as valuable anymore because we do not consume corpses as much as we used to. However, if we generate corpses with Blood Mist, we can quickly, right before we shot our wave, do our burst damage, we can quickly consume some corpses and get another damage multiplier there. But maybe these skill points, 3 skill points, has a different use, a better use in the skill tree, depending on how you like it. Coming to next one, we have Iron Maiden and Decrypify to proc the damned aspect, get more damage multipliers. We are really taking all these passives here for more damage, more defense, and more damage from distance as well. I have extra 3 from my amulet in this scenario. Going to the next one, oh yeah, we're also taking all this because this gives us a cooldown reduction. It's very important. Open world, sometimes I will take a point out of here or point out of here to put here, which gives us a nice heal when we're surrounded by the mobs. We can actually heal quite a bit when we kill the mobs fighting open world PvP. It's very valuable to take this one, so that would be also my suggestion. Going to the next part, we are taking Gruesome Mending. 30% more healing from all resources is very valuable, helps a lot. There's this ability Transfusion that we can proc using Shadow Wave or Blood Wave at this point, but I don't see that much of a difference. I like using the point somewhere else. Come in here, we take all of it here. Terror became kind of useless in PvP because people are more unstoppable. Like I said, you cannot CC them as much, but we're still putting 3 points here in case we get those windows where they're slowed and stunned, because it happens. It does happen, just not as regular as often it used to happen. We're putting again Crippling Darkness. You may say it's kind of the same. We cannot CCY 1 point here. We do have sometimes able to CC them, especially using Decompose. This happens, and when you get that, it's nice. You force them to stun break, so on and so forth. So it's always have to have 1 point here. Gloom, we got it's Darkness. Take another. It's a really good passive. I think we take this no matter what. So, and then movement speed here, I like taking this one because I find in the current meta, not getting poked by poison, not getting hit by bleed barbs, also fighting against firewall sorks, it's really important to take this one to even every little bit of speed helps us here. Moving forward, obviously we're taking all this for our shadow wave, and then taking all this as well here, just more defenses, more damage, all that. Bow going down, we take Shadow Blight as well here. If you're fighting Thorn Barbs, by the way, this will proc their direct damage, and then you may get one shot in return. So sometimes I drop this if I'm going against the Thorn Barb in open world PvP or in dueling setting. But yeah, this is kind of a give and take scenario depending on the matchup. My skill tree changes depending on the matchup as well, but this is overall what I have. I think it's a good starting point. You can obviously make some changes depending on how you like it. Alright, jumping into the Vampiric Powers that we utilize in the current season. First one, Metamorphosis. It's actually crazy how much of a movement and another CC break can help a class. One of the reasons Necro is more viable this meta is that we have a lot more extra CC breakers. Last season, when we get CC locked, and if we didn't have our mist up, we were pretty much screwed there, just the fight was over. But now this season we have a lot more fighting chance because we can CC break a lot more often. And this helps us also inflict Vampiric Curse, which lands on my next Vampiric Power I want to talk about here, which is I think right here, yeah, Prey on the Weak. When we inflict the Vampiric Curse, we actually also wound the enemy. So if you see me, we will try to in the gameplay we will try to roll dodge opponents more often so we can curse them, and that will wound them, and this is actually makes them wound permanent, so that once you do this they are wound for the rest of the fight. So it's really important to have this one. Plus you get another damage multiplier on this. And then we get Anticipation, again really good must have, 20% cooldown reduction and then 12% damage increase to our ultimate. Going to the next one, Flowing Winds. We are a damage over time build. This boosts our damage over time significantly. And the last one, I am loving Undying. But this one I can actually, because I have a higher HP, we can actually out heal enemies sometimes in certain scenarios, especially casting Decompose. We are getting this overtime, healing overtime ability almost. Moving on, unfortunately I won't be displaying my full Paragon board in this video. I almost change it daily, utilizing new paths, constantly testing things in Paragon. It's also very matchup dependent, but I know there are a lot of available Paragon options out there, as well as my season 1 video shows my previous Paragon board you can possibly take inspirations from. However, I will share the glyphs and I'm running currently and the legendary nodes. I hope that helps for now, but I will definitely release a Paragon board in near future to help out as well. Going over the glyphs, I'm liking Sacrificial, Scourge, Darkness, Desecration, which I think these are very obvious choices, especially Scourge, Darkness and Desecration are very must-have glyphs in my opinion. You want to max those out for your damage. I'm running total of 5 boards and 5 glyphs. 5th glyph I run also changes based on the matchup. However, I am running Exploit simply because wall uptime is quite high. Like I mentioned, using Prey of the Weak Vampiric Power, you wound the opponent once and they are wound for rest of the fight. For legendary nodes, I'm taking Scent of Death, Flesh Eater, and Wither, which I think these are very must-have choices. Overall, I hope this video was helpful. If I missed anything, please feel free to comment and ask any questions that I may be able to help. Happy to do so. I have my Discord info linked below. You can join my server. There are a lot of Necro players in there that may also help you with a lot of PvP knowledge. We also do share a lot of Paragon board over there as well, just back and forth brainstorming. Outside of that, if you made it all the way here in the video, I appreciate you. I'm getting very close to 1K subscribers and actually getting close to be monetized. So if you do hit that sub button, that will help me greatly. Rest assured, we are going to be playing a lot of Necromancer for foreseeable future, and I'm always focusing on PvP. So a lot more content planned to come your way. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. I hope this video was helpful. I do want to empower more Necros out there in the fields. Lord Sora here. Until the next time, cheers.